Tension erupts on Delancey Street. Victoria Drake, the most powerful female billionaire in Philadelphia, worth $2.4 billion and counting, stands face to face with Marcus Cole, the sanitation worker who managed to do what she, with all her wealth and influence, could not: make her daughter feel safe. Her breath trembles with fury, every muscle locked tight beneath the Armani blazer that cost more than his monthly rent. "You think you understand my daughter better than I do." Marcus places his dust-covered glove on the trash bin, lifts his head, meets the gaze of the trembling woman. His voice carries that deep steadiness she's heard echoes of in exactly one other man, the husband she buried 6 years ago. "I don't need to understand, I just need to listen." Listen to what? Victoria steps closer, eyes blazing with something between rage and desperation. The girl hasn't spoken a word in 6 years. 6 years. What could you possibly have heard? Marcus's lips curve slightly, his gaze unwavering, as morning light cuts through the Philadelphia fog. Exactly. Those 6 years, did you ever truly stay silent to listen? Or did you just keep talking, pushing, demanding she respond? The words land like a slap straight to Victoria's heart. Behind the iron bars, Lily's eyes widen as she follows every exchange. For the first time in her life, the girl witnesses someone daring to tell her mother things she has never allowed herself to hear. This is the story of how a quarrel that seemed to be nothing but fire and rage became the beginning of a child's path to healing. But what could drive a proud billionaire woman to scream at a sanitation worker? And why would a child raised in luxury find peace in a pair of calloused hands? To answer that, we rewind time, back to the heavy silence inside the mansion at Society Hill, Philadelphia, where two completely different lives begin a new day, unaware that fate will force them to cross paths in ways no one could have imagined. Monday morning, 5 o'clock sharp. Victoria Drake wakes before the alarm rings, not because she wants to, but because her sleep is always haunted by the same nightmare. Her daughter calling mommy in a sweet voice, then upon opening her eyes, the cruel reality crashes down. 6 years have passed and she has never once heard that voice. Lying on the king-size bed, Victoria gazes out the third-floor window. Outside, Society Hill is waking up. The red brick houses from the 18th century stand in neat rows like old soldiers, silently guarding secrets of the past. Damn it. She mutters the words to no one, eyes glued to her phone. 47 emails have arrived since 11 p.m. the night before. Wall Street never sleeps, and neither does Victoria Drake. But before the emails, she carries out the habit she has kept for 4 years: listening. Barefoot on the Persian carpet, she stops in front of Lily's door, pressing her ear against the oak. Victoria holds her breath, hoping just once to hear her daughter talking to herself, humming a tune, or even just sighing softly. Silence. Always silence. Victoria gently pushes the door open. Lily sleeps fast, clutching the brown teddy bear, the last gift from David, the husband who died in a car accident. Streetlights spill through the curtains, casting pale golden streaks across that angelic face. "Stay strong, my little girl." Victoria whispers it like a prayer she no longer believes in. "Today will be different. I believe it will." But deep inside, she knows she's only lying to herself. The confession sits in her throat like broken glass. She closes the door and walks to her home office, where Tokyo waits for no one's grief. Just 15 minutes away, in a shabby 2-bedroom apartment in West Philadelphia, Marcus Cole wakes his son in a very different way. "Rise and shine, champion." Marcus pats Ethan's leg, his voice carrying that particular warmth reserved for the one person who kept him breathing through the darkest years. "Smell that?" Dad's famous pancakes. Ethan, 12 years old, tall with the same eyes as his late mother, chuckles sleepily, burrowing deeper into the threadbare comforter. "Dad always says his pancakes are famous, but you only ever make them for me." Exactly. That's why you're the luckiest kid in Philly. Marcus sits on the edge of the bed, the morning light through curtainless windows illuminating the cracks in the plaster walls. "Monday. Remember what I always say?" Ethan repeats it with a half smile, the ritual as familiar as breathing. New week, new opportunities. That's my boy. They sit together in the small kitchen, morning light streaming through windows that rattle when trucks pass. Nothing fancy, just an old wooden table, two mismatched chairs, the smell of pancakes mixing with coffee. But here is something Victoria's million-dollar mansion never has. Laughter. Ethan's voice carries that careful tone Marcus has learned to recognize. The one that means his son is about to ask something he's been holding inside. Yesterday, Johnny at school asked why you don't work in an office like other dads. Marcus freezes, fork and knife in hand. It's a question he expected but was never prepared for. The kind that cuts deeper than any blade because it comes wrapped in a child's innocent curiosity. So what did you say? I said my dad is the strongest man I know. And strong people do whatever it takes to take care of their family. Marcus turns away, hiding misty eyes. You really think that? Ethan nods, his voice unusually serious for a 12-year-old. I think Johnny may have a dad in a suit, but that dad definitely doesn't know how to make pancakes that taste like happiness. Marcus laughs through the lump in his throat, and that is the difference between the two families. One has everything money can buy, but no laughter. The other has little but overflows with love. You might think these two worlds would never collide. A powerful billionaire woman with a schedule packed to the minute, and a quiet single father making ends meet. Too distant, too opposite. But in a city like Philadelphia, where old cobblestone streets lead into struggling neighborhoods, sometimes it takes just one moment and everything changes. 2 hours later, Victoria sits in her Bentley, phone pressed to her ear as the car stops in front of St. Joseph's private school. Through the bulletproof glass, she watches Lily quietly walk into the building, not speaking to anyone. Catherine, are you still there? The CFO's voice crackles through the line, impatient with her distraction. We need your approval on the Tokyo deal before noon. Yes, yes, prove it. Victoria answers mechanically, eyes still fixed on Lily. Another girl runs up to strike a conversation. Lily only smiles, nods, then walks away. Victoria bites her lip hard enough to taste copper. Catherine, the CFO presses, and I said approve it, Michael, and book another session with the therapy team. We need to try something different. Hanging up, Victoria leans back into the leather seat. Today she has 9 meetings, 3 interviews, 1 magazine photo shoot, and tonight she will return home to a daughter who still will not say a single word to her. Meanwhile, in West Philly, Marcus drives his old pickup to the sanitation company depot. On the radio, Stevie Wonder's Isn't She Lovely plays, and he sings along, tapping the steering wheel. Morning, Marcus. Joe, a 60-year-old coworker with a limp from Vietnam, waves from the loading bay. Always up early, Joe. Early bird finds trash early. Marcus grins as he parks, grabbing his work gloves from the passenger seat. How's Martha? Joe sighs, the sound carrying decades of marriage and worry. Doctor says her arthritis is worse, but she's stubborn, out in the garden every day. Marcus listens with rare attentiveness. Since Sarah's passing, he's understood one thing with crystalline clarity. Every moment with loved ones is precious, and you don't get warnings before the end comes. Tell her if she needs help, I'll stop by. Ethan should also learn what community really means. Joe chuckles, patting Marcus's shoulder with a gnarled hand. You've got enough on your plate already, Marcus. Marcus shakes his head, that stubborn set to his jaw that Sarah used to tease him about. All the more reason to teach my son, community is where you give, not just take. Life has a strange way of pulling people together when they need each other most. And just one day later, on what seems like an ordinary morning, these two worlds will collide in a way no one expects. Because sometimes a chance encounter becomes a lifelong turning point, and sometimes a silent child is the very voice 2 adults need to hear. Tuesday morning, 8:15 sharp. Marcus Cole's familiar green garbage truck rolls down the oldest cobblestone street in Philadelphia. This isn't his favorite route, not because of the heavy work, but because it always feels like he's wandered into a world that isn't his. Society Hill. Marcus mutters it like a curse and a wonder combined, his eyes sweeping over the million-dollar mansions lined up like fortresses, each one a monument to old money and older secrets. A place where people have everything except time for each other. He stops in front of number 412, a 3-story mansion with glossy black gates and a perfectly trimmed garden that screams professional landscaping 3 times a week. Marcus has heard coworkers mention this family, the youngest female billionaire in Pennsylvania, living with her 6-year-old daughter. the child in high society coldly nicknamed the Mute Angel. Weird nickname for a kid. Marcus frowns, dragging the heavy trash bin toward his truck. Every child should be noisy and messy. That's what being a kid is. Just as he's about to dump the trash, a small sound comes from behind. So quiet he almost misses it beneath the rumble of his truck's diesel engine. Marcus turns. Behind the iron bars stands a little girl about 6 years old. Golden hair and perfect braids, piercing blue eyes, an elegant pink dress that only highlights the stark contrast with the sadness in her gaze. A sadness no child should carry. The kind that speaks of witnessing things that shattered innocence beyond repair. Hello, little princess. Marcus sets the trash bin down carefully, crouching to her eye level. Were you talking to me? Lily nods, her tiny finger pointing at the pile of garbage with desperate urgency. Marcus follows her gesture. Among the plastic bags and boxes, a brown teddy bear lies crushed, one button eye hanging by a thread, the bow tie askew. Oh no, is that your bear? Lily nods hard, her eyes brimming with tears that threaten to spill over any second. Don't cry. I'll get it back. Marcus carefully picks up the bear, brushes the dust off with his work gloves, and holds it like the treasure it clearly is to this little girl. What's his name? Lily parts her lips, but no sound comes out. Only a pleading look that Marcus recognizes from somewhere deep in his memory. The same look Ethan gave him for 8 months after Rachel died, when his son's voice disappeared into the void of grief. That's okay. You don't have to say it. Marcus gently pushes the bear through the gate, watching his small hands clutch it desperately. Look at him. So soft, bow tie so neat. He must be very special. Lily hugs the bear tightly, and for the first time her lips curve into a smile. Small, tentative, but real. You know what? Marcus lowers his voice to that warm, confidential tone he used to use when Ethan needed comfort, but couldn't find words for the pain. My son Ethan has a bear just like yours. Maybe the two bears are distant cousins. Lily tilts her head, curiosity sparking in those sad eyes. Every night Ethan tells his bear stories about school, about dreams, and even about missing his mom. Talking to a bear is easier than talking to people, because bears don't judge. They just listen. In that moment, something miraculous happens. The girl who has been silent for 6 years finds the first person who makes her want to communicate, not with words, but with something deeper, something that doesn't require voice to be heard. Lily points at Marcus, then at herself, then hugs her bear tightly. You're asking if bears can hug too? Marcus chuckles softly. Of course, and those hugs are magical. They make everything feel lighter. To you, this might seem like nothing more than a passing conversation. But to Lily, it's the first time she's felt no pressure, no force to speak. Sometimes the smallest moments plant the seeds for the biggest changes, and this is the very first seed. In the second floor study, Victoria Drake is glued to her laptop, reviewing quarterly projections that will determine whether her company stays ahead of the tech curve or falls behind. Maria, the housekeeper who's been with the family since before David died, bursts in with alarm written across her face. Senora Victoria, come quickly! Lily is outside with the garbage man. Victoria shoots up, her heart pounding so hard she can feel it in her throat. What? She's never gone outside on her own? Never. She rushes to the balcony, coffee mug still in hand. The sight before her makes her grip the railing so tight her knuckles turn white. Lily, the daughter who has never let anyone near, who flinches at the slightest unexpected touch, is listening intently to a strange man in an orange vest, and even smiling. Actually, genuinely smiling. Oh my God. Victoria whispers it like a prayer and a curse combined, her eyes wetting instantly. She's reacting. Lily points, nods, even giggles. Reactions Victoria has begged for over 6 years and never received. Not once. Not even close. In that moment, Victoria, the woman who controls everything in her life, who built a billion-dollar empire through sheer force of will, is shaken by a realization that cuts deeper than any business loss ever could. There are things she cannot control, and maybe that's exactly what her daughter needs. Out in the yard, the conversation continues. Marcus smiles, his voice carrying that gentle wisdom that comes from surviving the unsurvivable. You know what I think? I think your bear has been keeping all the words you've wanted to say these past 6 years. And one day, when you're ready, he'll give them back to you. Lily clutches the bear, her eyes lighting up with something Victoria hasn't seen since David was alive. Hope. For the first time in her life, she feels understood without words, accepted without conditions. Marcus stands, checking his watch. I have to go now, little princess, but I'll be back tomorrow, same time. Who knows? Maybe then you'll introduce your bear to me in a special way. Lily nods eagerly, waving her tiny hand with an enthusiasm that makes Marcus's chest tighten with memories of Ethan at that age, before the world taught him that love can be taken away in an instant. Marcus has just turned toward his truck when a cold voice cuts through the morning air like a blade. Excuse me. He turns. A tall woman, blonde hair neatly tied back, elegant black suit that probably costs what he makes in 3 months, stands at the gate. Even without introduction, Marcus knows. Victoria Drake. He's seen her face on enough magazine covers while waiting in grocery store checkout lines. Yes, ma'am? Marcus speaks with the careful politeness he's learned from years of being judged by his uniform rather than his character. I don't know what you're doing, but my daughter is not allowed to talk to strangers. Marcus glances at Lily behind the bars, hugging her bear tighter, confusion flooding those expressive eyes. Then he answers calmly, holding Victoria's gaze with the quiet dignity of a man who knows his worth even if the world doesn't. With respect, ma'am, your daughter was just talking to me in her own way. Victoria freezes. The words hit harder than expected. She doesn't talk to anyone. She has a medical condition. Marcus holds her gaze, not backing down, but not aggressive either, just stating truth as he sees it. I'm sorry, but in just these few minutes, she's said more to me than she has in 6 years. Victoria's eyes sweep over him. The stained orange uniform, the dusty gloves, the faint smell of garbage and honest work that clings to a man who empties other people's trash for a living. I appreciate your kindness, but she needs doctors, not small talk from a stranger. Marcus nods slightly, accepting the dismissal with grace born of practice. Doctors are great, but I believe sometimes what a child needs most is simply someone willing to listen. The air grows heavy between them, charged with something neither can name. Victoria feels the blood rush to her face, anger and shame and fear mixing into something toxic. I think you should leave now. Marcus turns to go, but before walking away, he looks back at Lily one more time. See you tomorrow, little princess. Don't forget what we just talked about. The garbage truck slowly rolls away. Lily remains watching until it disappears at the end of the street. Victoria stands frozen, watching her daughter stare after a stranger with more life in her eyes than Victoria has seen in 6 years. Lily, come inside now. For the first time in her life, Lily doesn't immediately obey. She stands a moment longer, clutching her bear tightly, then walks in. Victoria knows something has changed, something beyond her control, something that terrifies her more than any hostile takeover or market crash ever could. That evening in Marcus's apartment, Ethan looks up from his homework as his father stares out the window into the Philadelphia night. Dad, you've been quiet today. Something happened? Marcus turns, considering how much to share. He's always tried to be honest with Ethan, to never treat him like he can't handle truth. I just keep thinking about a little girl I met this morning. She reminded me of you, back when Mom first passed. Ethan nods slowly, his face taking on that too-old expression children wear when they've seen death up close. I remember, back then I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was mad at everyone. Except you. Why accept me, Marcus asked, though he's asked this before and received different answers as Ethan grew older, each one revealing new layers of understanding. Because you didn't try to fix me. You just sat with me. Marcus wraps his arms around his son, holding him tight. That's right. Sometimes people don't need to be fixed. They just need someone willing to sit beside them in silence. Meanwhile, Victoria stands outside Lily's room, listening as she does every night, hoping to catch some whisper of the daughter she's losing day by day. And for the first time in weeks, she hears small sounds, not clear words, just whispers to her teddy bear. But unmistakably, Lily's voice. Tears stream down Victoria's face as she leans against the wall. 5 minutes with that man did what I couldn't do in 6 years. The answer, though she isn't ready to admit it, is undeniable. Marcus gave Lily something all her wealth could not purchase: unconditional acceptance. But this is only the beginning, because in the days that follow, as Marcus keeps showing up and Lily keeps changing, Victoria will face the hardest question of her life. Does she have the courage to admit she's been wrong? What begins as a chance encounter quickly becomes a daily routine, and Victoria can no longer ignore it. Every morning at 8:15 sharp, Lily waits by the window. Every morning, Marcus spends 5 to 10 minutes talking with the girl through the bars. Victoria watches from the second floor balcony, her heart pounding each time her daughter responds. This isn't right. She tells herself this over and over, a mantra against the evidence of her own eyes. I don't know anything about him. By Thursday, Victoria decides to act. She calls the city's sanitation company, her voice carrying that particular authority that comes from never being told no. Hello, this is Victoria Drake on Delancey Street. I'd like to ask about an employee, Marcus Cole. Is there a problem, ma'am? The supervisor's voice sounds worried, and Victoria hears the unspoken question. Did he do something wrong? Should I fire him? I just need to know what kind of person he is. Marcus? He's been here 4 years. Never late, never complains, always does more than his share. Why do you ask? Victoria hesitates, unsure how to explain without sounding paranoid or privileged, or both. He's been talking to my daughter. Then that sounds like Marcus. He's got a son too, real family man. His wife passed away a few years back. He's been raising the boy alone since. That information makes Victoria pause. She prepared for the worst-case scenario: criminal record, restraining orders, something to justify her instinct to protect. But Marcus Cole seems to be simply a decent man. Lily begins to change in the ways that can't be denied. Small things, but clearly visible to anyone watching closely. Monday. She finishes her breakfast on her own, something that has never happened before without coaxing and encouragement and sometimes tears. Tuesday. She places a drawing on the windowsill: an orange garbage truck and 2 tiny figures, one in orange, one in pink. Wednesday. Maria reports to Victoria with tears in her eyes. Signora, Lily smiled today. Not a forced smile, a real one. Victoria's chest tightens with emotions she can't name. Maybe I should talk to him, ask what he's been doing. But every time she's about to step outside, there's an urgent meeting, a pressing email, a call from Tokyo that simply cannot wait. By the time she looks up, Marcus is gone and Lily is back inside, clutching that bear like it holds all her secrets. Marcus begins telling Lily about his son during their morning conversations. Ethan started middle school this year. He says it while swapping out the trash bins, working with the efficient movements of someone who's done this thousands of times. He was scared on the first day. Know what I told him? Lily shakes her head, eyes wide with curiosity. I told him feeling nervous means you care, and caring is never a bad thing. Lily nods slowly, then points to her chest with one small finger. That's right, princess. Everything of yours lives here, doesn't it? For the first time, someone tells Lily that silence isn't the lack of feelings, it's having too many. Marcus also slowly notices Lily's tiny tells, the way she communicates without words but with perfect clarity if you pay attention. She hugs her teddy when sad, points to the sky when happy, always looks west whenever he leaves, the direction where her father died, though Marcus doesn't know this yet. You miss your dad, don't you? Marcus asked softly one day, watching her gaze drift westward. Lily nods, eyes reddening. Missing the ones we love is normal. Ethan misses his mom every single day. Love doesn't disappear when people go, it just changes shape. You might think these are only brief chats through the bars, but for Lily, they are the first bricks of a bridge from isolation to connection. And for Victoria, each smile, each look from her daughter cracks her shield of control, one more fissure at a time. Victoria begins rearranging her schedule to quietly observe. She sees that Marcus doesn't just talk, he listens. He truly listens. Lily points at a bird, Marcus talks about birds. She points at clouds, he describes their shapes. She points at her chest, he speaks about love. He's teaching her that communication doesn't require words. Victoria realizes this suddenly, standing at her office window with cold coffee in hand, and that she deserves to be heard. But the more she watches, the more guilt gnaws at her. Why is her daughter more at ease with a stranger than with her own mother? One Friday morning, Victoria decides to walk down to the gate. Her hands shake slightly as she approaches, and she hates herself for the weakness. Mr. Cole. Marcus turns, nodding with that respectful distance he always maintains. Miss Drake, good morning. I want to thank you for being kind to Lily. Marcus's face softens. She's a special girl. It's easy to be kind to her. Victoria glances at Lily standing behind the bars as usual, watching their exchange with those two observant eyes. May I ask, what do the two of you talk about? Everything and nothing. Marcus smiles, a real smile that reaches his eyes and transforms his face from merely decent to genuinely handsome. Today she showed me how clouds become animals. Yesterday she hummed the song her Teddy likes. She hummed. Victoria startles, the words coming out sharper than intended. Lily hasn't made a sound in years. Maybe she just needed someone to hum along. In that moment, Victoria understands the problem with perfect clarity. It isn't that Lily can't speak. It's that she hasn't met anyone worth speaking to. Everything flips when a paparazzi snaps a photo. Not that day, not that week, but it's coming. The storm that will force Victoria to choose between her daughter's healing and her company's image. But first, the connection deepens. Week 2 arrives with Lily bringing drawings to the gate. Today's picture shows a boy with a teddy bear. Marcus studies it carefully. Is this Ethan? My son? Lily nods eagerly. He'd love to meet you. He's been asking about the girl I told him about. The one who's teaching me to really see clouds again. Lily's eyes light up at the idea of meeting someone who understands, who's walked the same dark path she's walking now. Marcus also notices the broken gate hinge that squeaks every time the wind blows. Lily, watch this. He pulls a small toolbox from his truck. Old habits from his carpentry days die hard. He oils the hinge, tightens the bolt, tests the movement. See? Sometimes things that seem broken just need a little care. Not replacement, just patience. Lily watches intently, understanding this isn't just about a gate. Victoria watches from above, recognizing something in Marcus's movements. The careful precision, the respect for materials, the quiet competence. This is a man who built things before life tore him down. That evening, Victoria does something she hasn't done in years. She calls a man. Not for business, not for networking, but for something personal. Mr. Cole, this is Victoria Drake. Yes, ma'am? Is Lily all right? I don't know, but I need to ask you something. And please, call me Victoria. The pause on the line stretches long enough for doubt to creep in. Would you and your son come to dinner? Saturday evening. Lily's been drawing Ethan's name all week. Marcus hesitates. This crosses lines he's been careful not to cross. Victoria, I don't think... Please, you said she needs to hear what she's already saying. Well, she's saying she wants to meet Ethan. Who am I to deny her? Marcus sighs, and Victoria can hear the smile in it. Okay, but casual, yeah? Ethan's not comfortable with fancy. Casual, I promise. Saturday evening arrives with Victoria in a panic. She's negotiated billion-dollar deals without breaking a sweat. But hosting a 12-year-old boy and his father for casual dinner has her redoing the table setting 3 times. Senora, the boy will be afraid. Rosa says it gently, looking at the 12-person dining table with its crystal chandelier and original artwork. You're right, we need to change this. Everything. They move to the kitchen table, simple ceramic plates, pizza dough from scratch. Though Victoria has no idea how to actually make pizza and ends up calling Rosa for help every 5 minutes. The doorbell rings. Victoria's heart pounds harder than it did before her first board presentation. She opens the door. Marcus and Ethan stand there, both in clean jeans and button-down shirts, their best clothes clearly. Ethan holds a small bouquet of supermarket flowers, probably Marcus's idea. Welcome. Victoria steps aside and Ethan enters cautiously, his eyes taking in the home that's still intimidating despite their efforts to make it casual. Lily hovers in the doorway, peeking around the frame. She sees Ethan and retreats behind it, suddenly shy. Hey. Ethan doesn't wait for the adults to navigate social niceties. He walks over and crouches down. You must be Lily. My dad talks about you all the time. Like constantly. It's actually kind of annoying. Lily peeks out and her lips twitch. Almost a smile. I'm kind of nervous too. This house is like a museum. I'm afraid to touch anything. Lily giggles softly, the sound like small bells. Ethan extends his pinky. Packed? We'll both try not to break anything expensive. Lily emerges fully, linking pinkies with this boy who understands without needing explanation. During dinner, pizza that's slightly burnt but somehow perfect because nobody cares, Lily taps Ethan's arm. She shows him a drawing of the boy with the teddy bear. That's me and my mom's bear, isn't it? Ethan's face softens with recognition. Dad told you about that? Lily nods. Want to see her? My mom? Lily nods eagerly, leaning close as Ethan pulls out his phone. He shows a photo, Rachel Cole, warm smile, eyes full of life that ended too soon. She died when I was 7. Drunk driver hit her car. Lily's hand flies to her chest, fingers splaying over her heart. Yeah, same. Your dad died in a car crash too, right? Lily nods, tears starting to form. Were you there? In the car? Lily nods again, and Ethan's expression shifts to something beyond his years. I wasn't there, but I was on the phone. I heard it happen. Lily reaches across the table, taking Ethan's hand. Victoria and Marcus watch as two broken kids find common ground and shared wounds. Marcus's eyes meet Victoria's, and something passes between them. Understanding, recognition, maybe the first stirrings of something neither is ready to name. After dinner, Lily takes Ethan to her room. The adults sit in the living room, Victoria pouring whiskey that costs more than Marcus makes in a month. Thank you. For tonight. Victoria hands him a glass and he takes it despite feeling out of place. Your daughter is remarkable. You know that? I know she's broken. No, Marcus's voice carries quiet certainty. She's healing. There's a difference, right, Bob? Silence stretches between them, comfortable despite the vast gulf in their circumstances. Can I ask you something? How did you do it? How did you bring Ethan back? I didn't. I just sat with him until he was ready to come back on his own. How long did that take? 8 months. Longest 8 months of my life. Victoria's voice cracks slightly. I don't have 8 months. Marcus sets his glass down, his expression questioning. What do you mean? Victoria takes a breath, then tells him everything. Not about custody battles, that's not the story here, but about board members questioning her judgment, about investors who see a CEO distracted by personal matters, about articles questioning whether a woman can truly have it all when her child won't speak to her. They're watching, always watching, waiting for me to fail. And if they push you to choose? Victoria looks at him, really looks, and Marcus sees in her eyes what he felt after Rachel died. The terror of failing the one person who matters most. I don't know. God help me, I don't know. Upstairs, Lily and Ethan talk in whispers. So your mom's company, they don't like my dad? Lily shakes her head, face troubled. They don't understand. People who haven't been broken don't get why the broken ones need each other. Lily nods vigorously, then types on her iPad. They want to stop it. Ethan reads it, his jaw setting in a way that mirrors his father's stubborn determination. Then we have to show them they're wrong. But Lily, that means you might have to talk, really talk, out loud. Lily's face goes white with fear. She shakes her head frantically. I know you're scared, but here's what my dad taught me. Brave isn't not being scared. Brave is being scared and doing it anyway. Lily looks at her bear, at the photo of her father on the nightstand, then back at Ethan. On Monday, Victoria's phone explodes. Michael, her assistant, calls at 6 a.m. Victoria, we have a problem. The MZ just posted. What? She's barely awake, still in pajamas, coffee not even started, photos of Marcus at your house with his son. The headline is brutal. Read it. Michael hesitates. Read it, Michael. Billionaire's mute daughter's new friend. Inside Victoria Drake's controversial parenting choice. Victoria feels her world tilt. She opens her laptop, sees the photos, Marcus and Ethan entering her home, Lily at the window watching for the garbage truck, even a shot of Victoria and Marcus talking through the gate. How did they get these? Someone tipped them. Anonymous source close to the family. Victoria knows immediately. Someone on her board, someone who wants her distracted or removed. What's the damage? Stock dropped 2 points in pre-market. Board wants an emergency meeting. And Victoria? What? Marcus's employer called. They're reassigning him, different route. He won't be coming to Delancey Street anymore. Victoria's world fractures completely. She looks out the window at the exact moment Lily wakes up and runs to her usual spot, the window facing the street where Marcus's truck should appear in 2 hours. No, Victoria whispers it, then says it louder. No, this doesn't end like this. She calls Marcus before logic can stop her. They reassigned you. His voice comes through, tired, resigned. Yeah, company policy. Too much media attention. This is my fault. No, this is people who think love fits in neat boxes and anything outside those boxes is wrong. Victoria closes her eyes. Lily's going to be devastated, I know. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her to keep talking to her bear, to keep drawing, to keep being brave. Wait, you're giving up? The words come out harsher than Victoria intended. I'm a sanitation worker, Victoria. What exactly am I supposed to fight? The media? You're bored? I don't have weapons for that war. Then I'll fight. Victoria says it with absolute certainty, the words surprising even herself. I built a company from nothing. I'll be damned if I let them tell me who my daughter can find healing with. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. That could cost you everything. Then it costs me everything. But losing her would cost me more. Saturday arrives with spring sunshine breaking through Philadelphia's perpetual gray. Marcus and Ethan stand on the Drake Mansion's front steps, Ethan holding a plastic container of cookies he insisted on baking himself. They're probably terrible. I've never baked cookies without Dad watching every step. Ethan shifts his weight, nervous energy radiating off him in waves. They'll be perfect because you made them with good intentions. That's what counts. Marcus rings the doorbell, and Lily yanks the door open before the chime finishes echoing. She wears a yellow dress Victoria doesn't recognize. Must have dug it out from the back of her closet. Something bright for a bright day. You came. The words burst out clear and strong, and Lily claps her hand over her mouth immediately after, shocked at her own volume. Of course we came. Ethan grins, holding out the container. I made cookies. They might be disasters, but they're homemade disasters. Lily takes them carefully, peeks inside, then looks up with sparkling eyes. She mouths, they look perfect. Victoria peers behind Lily, and Marcus feels his breath catch. She's in jeans, actual jeans, not designer denim that costs a month's rent. In a simple sweater. Her hair falls loose around her shoulders instead of pulled into that severe bun. She looks younger, softer, like someone who might actually laugh without calculating the optics first. Welcome, we're eating in the kitchen today. The dining room felt too formal. The kitchen turns out to be bigger than Marcus's entire apartment, all marble countertops and professional-grade appliances. But Victoria has set the small breakfast table instead of the island. 4 places, casual dishes, flowers from the garden in a mason jar. I wasn't sure what kids eat for lunch, so I made options. Grilled cheese, tomato soup, fruit, vegetables. Those cookies Ethan brought. Victoria trails off and Marcus realizes she's nervous. Victoria Drake, billionaire CEO, is nervous about feeding a 12-year-old lunch. It's perfect. Really. They sit, and for the first few minutes it's awkward. The kind of awkward that happens when people from different worlds try to find common ground. Then Ethan asks Lily about her drawings, and she runs to get her latest folder. The adults are left alone, and Victoria pours iced tea with hands that shake slightly. I got an email this morning from the board chairman. They want to meet Monday to discuss my future with the company. What are you going to tell them? That they can accept me as I am, or start looking for my replacement? I'm done apologizing for having priorities beyond quarterly earnings. Marcus studies her face, looking for cracks in the certainty. You've worked your whole life to build that company. Are you really ready to walk away? I built it so my family could have security. But what's the point of security if I lose my family in the process? She meets his eyes across the table. David used to say that success is what you have left after you stop counting money. Took me 6 years to understand what he meant. Lily returns with Ethan, both kids carrying folders stuffed with papers. They spread drawings across the table. Lily's meticulous sketches and Ethan's more abstract pieces. Victoria and Marcus examine them, and something shifts. The awkwardness dissolves into genuine interest, genuine connection. This one's from when I was angry at everything. Ethan points to a drawing of scribbled black lines, chaos contained on paper. I drew it the week after Mom died. Dad kept it even though I wanted to throw it away. Why keep it if you wanted it gone? Victoria's question is gentle, curious, because Dad said emotions aren't waste. Even the ugly ones matter. Even anger and sadness deserve to exist. Marcus feels heat creep up his neck. He remembers that conversation. Remembers sitting with his grief-destroyed son and trying to find words that didn't minimize the pain. Your dad sounds wise. Victoria's tone carries something Marcus can't quite name. He has his moments. The afternoon unfolds in small moments. Lily and Ethan disappear into the garden, their laughter drifting through open windows. Marcus helps Victoria clean up lunch, and they move around each other carefully, aware of every accidental touch. Can I ask you something personal? Victoria rinses a plate, not looking at him. You can ask me anything. When did you know you were ready to try again? After Rachel, I mean. When did you decide you could open yourself to someone new? Marcus sets down the dish towel, considering the question carefully. I'm not sure I did decide. I think it just happened. One day I looked at you and realized I felt something I thought died with Rachel, and it terrified me. Are you still terrified? Completely. But I'm also tired of letting fear make all my decisions. Victoria turns off the water, faces him fully. I told David I loved him on our third date. He thought I was crazy. We barely knew each other. But I knew. I felt it here. She presses her hand to her chest. And I've never felt it again. Until now. The admission hangs between them, weighted with possibility and danger. Marcus reaches out slowly, giving her time to pull away. She doesn't. His hand cups her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. We're probably moving too fast. Probably. This could blow up spectacularly. Very likely. But you're worth the risk. So are you. They kiss again, deeper this time, 6 years of loneliness pouring into the connection. When they break apart, both are breathing hard. The kids are going to come back any second. Victoria's voice is unsteady. Then we should probably stop. Probably. Neither of them moves. They're still standing there, foreheads touching, when Lily and Ethan burst through the back door covered in garden dirt. We found a frog. Ethan announces this like it's a rare archaeological discovery, and Lily touched it. She was scared at first, but then she did it. Lily holds up muddy hands, grinning so wide it looks like her face might split. Victoria laughs, really laughs, the kind that comes from deep in the belly, and Marcus realizes he's never heard that sound from her before. Let's get you both cleaned up before you track mud through the whole house. The day stretches into evening. They order pizza because no one wants to cook. They watch a movie Ethan picks, some animated thing about dragons, and Lily falls asleep against Victoria's shoulder halfway through. Ethan dozes on the other end of the couch, and Marcus and Victoria sit in the middle, hands linked under the blanket Lily insisted they all share. This feels normal. Marcus whispers it, almost afraid to say it louder. It does. Like maybe we could actually do this. Build something real. What happens when reality hits? When the board makes their decision? When the media finds out we're actually together? When people start judging? Then we deal with it. Together. Victoria squeezes his hand. I'm done running from things that scare me. Done choosing safe over meaningful. The movie ends, credits rolling, and they wake the kids gently. Marcus and Ethan leave with hugs and promises to do this again soon. Victoria and Lily stand in the doorway, waving as the old pickup truck rumbles down Delancey Street. That was the best day ever. Lily leans against her mother, still watching the empty street. It was pretty great. Mommy, do you think we could be a family, all four of us? Victoria's throat tightens. Would you want that? I think I would. Is that okay? Is it okay that I want someone besides Daddy? Baby, love doesn't replace love. It adds to it. Your daddy will always be your daddy. But maybe there's room for Marcus too. And for Ethan. Lily nods slowly, processing. Ethan said his mom would want him to be happy. Do you think Daddy would want us to be happy? I know he would. Your daddy loved us too much to want us frozen in sadness forever. They close the door on the cooling evening, and Victoria feels something she hasn't felt in 6 years. Hope that doesn't come with a footnote of fear. Monday arrives with the board meeting Victoria has been dreading. She sits at the head of the conference table, 12 pairs of eyes studying her with varying degrees of skepticism. The chairman opens with numbers, stock fluctuation, investor concerns, media coverage analysis. Every slide designed to prove Victoria's personal life is destroying shareholder value. The media narrative has shifted. People are asking questions about your judgment, your priorities. My judgment is proven by every metric that matters. Profits up 12%, Tokyo expansion ahead of schedule, merger talks progressing exactly as planned. Victoria's voice stays level. But the optics are that I'm a human being who lost a husband and nearly lost a daughter. And I'm doing everything in my power to save what's left of my family. The room shifts uncomfortably. One of the newer board members, a woman in her 50s, speaks up. Victoria, nobody's questioning your competence. We're concerned about sustainability. Can you maintain this performance while also dealing with personal matters? Victoria takes a breath, makes a decision that's been forming since Saturday. You're right to ask, which is why I'm taking a leave of absence. Effective immediately, Michael can serve as interim CEO. Give me 3 months to get my personal life stable, then we'll discuss my return. The room erupts. Voices overlap, some panicked, some relieved. The chairman leans forward. Victoria, that's not what we're asking for. It's what I'm offering. Take it or accept my resignation. Your choice. She stands, gathering her materials. You have until tomorrow to decide. Walking out of that boardroom feels like stepping off a cliff. Victoria makes it to her car before the shaking starts, before the magnitude hits fully. 3 months without the company. 3 months to figure out who she is beyond the empire she built. Her phone rings. Marcus, how'd it go? I just walked away from everything I've spent 15 years building. Her voice cracks. Did you walk away or did you make space for what matters more? I don't know. Ask me in 3 months. Can I see you tonight? After Ethan's asleep? Please. That evening, Victoria drives to West Philadelphia. Marcus opens the door in sweatpants and a faded t-shirt, and she collapses into his arms before words form. I'm terrified. I know. What if I made the wrong choice? Then you made it bravely. That counts for something. They sit on his worn couch and Victoria looks around the small apartment. Water stain on the ceiling, mismatched furniture, photos of Ethan and Rachel on the walls. It's not much, but it's honest. Can I stay? Just tonight. I don't want to go back to that empty mansion. Of course, I'll take the couch. Marcus, I know, but Ethan's here and we should do this right. Victoria smiles despite everything. Always the gentleman, always trying to be. She ends up in Marcus's bed while he takes the couch, but sleep doesn't come easy. She stares at the ceiling, wondering if she's just destroyed everything for a relationship that might not last. Her phone buzzes, a text from Lily. Good night, Mommy. Love you. Don't be scared. The simple message breaks something open in Victoria's chest. Her daughter, who didn't speak for 6 years, is now texting encouragement. That has to mean something. The next morning, Victoria wakes to voices in the kitchen. She pads out in borrowed sweatpants to find Marcus making pancakes while Ethan does homework. Morning, Marcus hands her coffee. The board called. They accepted your leave of absence. Salary continues, position waiting when you're ready. Relief and terror hit simultaneously. So it's real. I'm actually doing this. You're actually doing this. Ethan looks up from his math. Ms. Drake, can I ask you something? Of course. Are you and my dad dating? Because Lily keeps asking and I don't know what to tell her. Victoria and Marcus exchange glances. Yes, we are. Cool. She's going to freak out, in a good way. Ethan returns to his homework like this is the most normal conversation in the world. That afternoon, Victoria does something she hasn't done since David died. She picks Lily up from school herself instead of having Rosa do it. She's standing outside St. Joseph's when the bell rings in Lily's face when she sees her mother waiting is worth every board meeting she'll miss. Mommy, what are you doing here? Picking up my daughter. Thought maybe we could get ice cream. But it's Monday. You always have meetings on Monday. Not anymore. For the next 3 months, my only job is being your mom. Lily throws her arms around Victoria's waist. Really? Really? They get ice cream, chocolate for Lily, vanilla for Victoria, and sit in the park watching other kids play. Mommy, Ethan said you and Marcus are dating. We are. How do you feel about that? Lily swings her legs, thinking. Happy, a little scared. What if it doesn't work? What if he leaves like Daddy did? The question cuts deep because Victoria has the same fear. Daddy didn't choose to leave, baby. And Marcus, he might leave. People do sometimes. But I don't think he will. And even if he does, we'll be okay. We've survived worse, have we? Yes. We survived losing Daddy. We survived 6 years of silence. We can survive anything as long as we have each other. Lily leans against her mother's shoulder. Can Ethan come over this week? I want to show him my new drawings. Absolutely. The week unfolds in a new rhythm. Victoria realizes how much of Lily's life she's missed. Parent-teacher conferences, art projects, small triumphs, and setbacks. She throws herself into being present, and the joy it brings surprises her. Thursday evening, Marcus calls with news that shifts everything. Someone from the sanitation company contacted me. A reporter's been asking questions about us, about money, whether this is some kind of scheme. Victoria's stomach drops. They're investigating you, looking for dirt, trying to prove I'm using you. The fear in his voice breaks her heart. We knew this might happen. Knowing and experiencing are different things. Victoria, if they find something, anything, they'll twist it. My bankruptcy, the business failure, the fact that I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So we tell the truth first, before they can spin it. How? I don't know yet, but we face it together. Friday morning brings the TMZ article, Billionaire and the Garbage Man, Love Story, or Elaborate Con. It's brutal, implying manipulation, questioning Lily's selective mutism, suggesting everything is orchestrated for sympathy. Victoria reads it twice, feeling rage build with each word. She calls Marcus immediately. Have you seen it? Reading it now. His voice is tight, controlled fury barely leashed. They interviewed my ex-boss. He said I was always looking for easy money. That's not true. Doesn't matter. The story's out there. Then we don't hide. We live our lives and let them draw whatever conclusions they want. Truth has a way of surfacing. You have more faith in truth than I do. Maybe. But I have faith in us. That has to count for something. Widows and widowers who found love again. People who see themselves in Victoria's story. She starts responding and the responses multiply. By Wednesday, she's fielding dozens of messages daily from people who want to share their stories, ask for advice, offer encouragement. Thursday evening, both families gather at the Drake Mansion for dinner. It's becoming routine now, Thursdays together, navigating the blended family waters. After the kids disappear into the garden, Marcus and Victoria sit on the back patio. I've been thinking about something. Marcus says it carefully. We're doing this backwards. I should have my own place stable, my finances in order, before we get serious. Or we could stop worrying about what we should do and focus on what we actually want. What I want and what's smart aren't always the same thing. When are they ever? Victoria turns to face him fully. I want you here. I want Ethan here. I want us to be a family, messy and imperfect and real. My lease is up next month. I've been thinking about renewing, trying to save more before don't renew. Move in here. The words come out before Victoria can second-guess them. What? The house is too big for just Lily and me. You'd have your own space. Ethan would have a yard. We could actually build this thing we're creating instead of living in two separate worlds. Victoria, I'm not asking you to be kept. I'm asking you to share space with someone who loves you. There's a difference. Marcus is quiet for a long time. The kids would love it. Screw the kids. Would you love it? Eventually, yeah. But my pride says I should wait. Come to you as an equal. Your pride is getting in the way of our happiness. Victoria says it gently. Isn't that worth examining? When did you get so wise? When I stopped trying to control everything and started trusting that good things can happen if I let them. Marcus pulls her close. Okay, let's try it. But we do this right. I contribute what I can. We maintain boundaries. I don't take advantage. Deal. Now stop arguing and kiss me. He does. They tell the kids that night, And the reaction is exactly what Victoria expected. Pure joy. Lily bounces on the couch. Ethan grins so wide his face might split. Can I have the room with the window seat? Ethan asks, already planning. You can have any room you want. This is the best thing ever, Lily announces. We're going to be a real family. We already are. Marcus says it quietly and everyone goes still. Family isn't about living arrangements. It's about choosing each other. We've been choosing each other since the day we met. The moment sits, precious and fragile. But yeah, living together will be pretty cool too. Ethan breaks the tension and everyone laughs. That weekend, they start moving Marcus and Ethan's belongings. Victoria realizes how little they own. Everything fits in the pickup truck. 2 trips and it's done. Is this all? She stands in Marcus's now empty apartment. When you lose everything once, you learn to travel light. The statement isn't bitter, just factual. Well, now you have space to accumulate more. Do I want more though? I've been happy with less. Then don't accumulate. Just be happy. She takes his hand. With us. Moving day turns into a celebration. They order Chinese food and eat on the floor of the mansion's library because the kids insist it's more fun. They're surrounded by moving boxes and laughter and the beautiful chaos of families colliding. Lily falls asleep against Ethan's shoulder, and Victoria and Marcus carry both kids to their respective rooms. Rooms that are now permanent, not just for visits. Standing in the hallway between the kids' bedrooms, Marcus pulls Victoria close. Thank you for taking a chance on someone like me. Someone like you? You mean someone honest and kind and brave enough to help a stranger's kid? I mean someone who has nothing to offer but himself. That's not nothing. That's everything. They kiss in the quiet hallway, and Victoria thinks about how far they've come in just weeks. From strangers at a gate to this, building a life together despite every obstacle. Her phone buzzes. Michael, her CFO, board wants update on your return timeline. What should I tell them? Victoria types back, tell them I'm exactly where I need to be. Check back in 2 months. Everything okay? Marcus asks, reading her expression. Everything's perfect. For the first time in 6 years, everything is exactly right. They stand there into the quiet house, 2 broken people who found each other and decided that broken pieces can make something beautiful if you're brave enough to try. Outside, Philadelphia settles into its nighttime rhythm. Inside, a new family takes shape. Unconventional, imperfect, but real. And that's enough. More than enough. It's everything. 2 weeks after Marcus and Ethan move in, the Drake mansion feels different. Not just because there are muddy sneakers by the door or the sound of a 12-year-old practicing guitar upstairs, but because the silence that once filled every corner has been replaced with something Victoria never expected to have again. Life. She wakes Monday morning to voices in the kitchen. Marcus teaching Ethan how to make eggs the way his mother used to. Lily asking questions about the technique with her newfound voice. Victoria stands in the doorway for a moment, just watching, and Marcus catches her eye. Morning, coffee's ready. He says it like they've been doing this for years instead of weeks. You're spoiling me. Someone has to. You've been having to take care of everyone else for too long. The kids look up from their eggs, and Lily grins. Mommy, Marcus says I can help make dinner tonight. Real cooking, not just watching. That sounds perfect. Victoria pours coffee and joins them at the table, the smaller kitchen table they use now instead of the formal dining room. It's crowded with 4 people, elbows bumping, but it's the kind of crowded that feels right. The adjustment hasn't been seamless. 3 days after moving in, Ethan and Lily had their first real fight, something about whose turn it was to choose the movie. Both kids yelled, Lily slammed a door for the first time in her life, and Ethan retreated to his room with music blasting. This is normal, right? Victoria asked Marcus, genuinely unsure. Completely normal. They're acting like siblings. That's progress. By dinner, they had apologized to each other, and life continued. But Victoria learned something important. Functional families have conflict. It's the resolution that matters. This morning, Marcus leaves for his sanitation route wearing the same orange vest he's worn since they met. Victoria walks him to the door. You know you don't have to keep that job. We've talked about this, I know, but I'm not ready to stop yet. I need to prove something to myself first. What? That I can contribute. that I'm not just living off your wealth. You contribute every day. You're raising our kids, your daughter, my son. Marcus's correction is gentle but firm. We're not there yet. Don't push faster than we're ready to go. He's right, and Victoria knows it. They're building something, but foundations take time. After Marcus leaves, Victoria drives both kids to school, another adjustment since she's no longer racing to board meetings. She's gotten to know the other parents in the pickup line, learned the names of Lily's teachers, volunteered for the Spring Carnival Committee. Ms. Drake, we're so glad you're available now. The PTA president corners her after drop-off. We'd love your input on the fundraiser. With your business background, I'm happy to help, but I'm not the CEO anymore. Just a mom trying to figure things out like everyone else. The woman blinks, clearly not expecting that response. Well, that's refreshing. Most parents here can't stop talking about their accomplishments. I've talked about mine enough for one lifetime. Driving home, Victoria realizes how true that is. She spent weeks away from the company, and the world hasn't ended. Stock is stable, Michael is handling operations smoothly, and she's discovering there's more to life than quarterly earnings. Her phone rings. Dr. Rosen, Lily's therapist. Victoria, I wanted to touch base about Lily's progress. She's doing remarkably well. Her speech is nearly normal for her age now. That's wonderful. There's something else. The Philadelphia School District is hosting an awareness event about selective mutism next month. They asked if Lily might be willing to participate, share her experience with other families. Victoria's protective instincts flare immediately. She's only 6. That's a lot of pressure. Which is why I wanted to discuss it with you first. It's completely optional. But Lily has a powerful story, and there are hundreds of families struggling with what you've been through. Let me talk to her. And to Marcus. We'll decide together. That evening after dinner, they sit with both kids in the living room. Victoria explains the invitation carefully. It's not like talking to reporters. It would be other families, kids who don't speak, parents who are scared. You'd be helping them understand they're not alone. Lily twists the hem of her shirt, thinking hard. Would I have to talk a lot? Only as much as you want. You could even just answer questions instead of giving a speech. Can Ethan come? Of course. Ethan nods encouragement. I'll be right there. If you get scared, we can leave. Lily looks at Marcus, then at Victoria. Will you both be there too? We wouldn't miss it. Okay, I'll try. The word try carries more weight than any promise could. This is Lily choosing bravery, and Victoria's chest tightens with pride. The next 3 weeks pass in a blur of preparation mixed with normal family chaos. Lily practices with Dr. Rosen, not memorizing a speech, but getting comfortable with the kinds of questions people might ask. Victoria coordinates with the event organizers, ensuring they understand Lily's limits. Meanwhile, Marcus struggles with his own adjustment. One evening, Victoria finds him in the garden, staring at the expensive landscaping with a troubled expression. What's wrong? I fixed the Hendersons' fence today. Third house on my route. Took me 20 minutes, saved them a few $100s in contractor fees. That's good of you. That's who I am. I fix things. But here, he gestures at the mansion. Everything's already perfect. Professional gardeners, housekeepers, handymen on call. What's my purpose? Your purpose is being here. Being a father to Ethan, being a partner to me, helping Lily feel safe. Those aren't purposes. Those are just existing. Victoria sits beside him on the garden bench. You miss the work. I miss feeling useful, feeling like I'm building something instead of just occupying space. So build something. What did you love about carpentry before the business failed? Creating things, taking raw wood and making it into something beautiful and functional. Then do that. We have that entire unused workshop in the garage. Make furniture, take commissions, teach Ethan your skills, use your gifts. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. I've been so focused on not taking advantage of your money that I forgot I have things to offer beyond just my paycheck. Exactly. Your hands, your skills, your knowledge. Those have value that has nothing to do with my bank account. He pulls her close and they sit in the gathering dusk. Thank you for being patient with my pride. Thank you for being brave enough to try this with me. The following Saturday, Marcus sets up the workshop. It's been used for storage, but underneath the boxes and forgotten exercise equipment, there's a full carpentry setup, table saw, drill press, workbenches, everything dusty but functional. This belonged to David. Victoria explains, helping Marcus clear space. He liked woodworking too. Built that bookshelf in Lily's room, the garden bench, a few other pieces around the house. I didn't know he was going to teach Lily when she got older. Obviously, that didn't happen. Do you mind if I use his tools? Victoria runs her hand along the workbench, remembering David standing here, safety glasses on, completely absorbed in his projects. I think he'd like knowing they're being used again, especially by someone who'll teach both our kids. Both our kids. The phrase slips out naturally now, and neither of them corrects it. By afternoon, Marcus has Ethan and Lily in the workshop, teaching them basic safety and how to sand wood properly. Victoria watches from the doorway as her daughter, who spent 6 years silent, chatters away about grain patterns and tool names. This is family, she thinks. Not the perfect magazine version, but the real, messy, beautiful kind. The awareness event arrives on a crisp April Saturday. The venue is a community center in Northeast Philadelphia. Nothing fancy, just families gathering in a shared gymnasium. Victoria counts maybe 60 people, parents with silent children, therapists, educators, a few reporters, but not the aggressive kind. Lily wears her favorite blue dress and clutches Victoria's hand as they enter. Marcus carries a folding chair, and Ethan scouts ahead, reporting back on the setup. There's cookies and juice, and some kids brought their teddy bears like Lily did. The organizer, a woman named Patricia, whose son had selective mutism until age 8, greets them warmly. Lily, thank you so much for coming. You don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. The format is casual. Families sit in a circle and Dr. Rosen facilitates a conversation about their experiences. Some parents cry talking about their children's silence. Some kids demonstrate how they communicate without words, signing, writing, drawing. Then Patricia turns to Lily gently. Lily, would you like to share how you started speaking again? Lily looks at Victoria, who nods encouragement. Looks at Marcus, who smiles. Looks at Ethan, who gives a thumbs up. I was sad. Lily's voice is quiet but clear. My daddy died in a car. I saw it happen. And I thought if I didn't talk, maybe it wouldn't be real. Parents leaned forward, listening intently, but not talking made it more real. Because I couldn't tell anyone how scared I was. I couldn't ask for help. What changed? Dr. Rosen asked softly. Marcus. Lily points to him, and every head turns. He's not my daddy. He's my friend. And he didn't try to make me talk. He just listened to the ways I could talk, with my hands and my pictures and my bear. She pauses, gathering courage. And he told me it was okay to be sad, that my voice didn't make my daddy die, and using my voice wouldn't hurt anyone. So I tried, little bit at a time. A woman in the circle is crying openly now. Her daughter, maybe 4 years old, sits silent beside her. How long did it take? The woman's voice breaks on the question. I don't know. One day I said one word, then another day I said more words, and now I talk all the time. Lily says this with such matter-of-fact confidence that laughter ripples through the group. But I still get scared sometimes. And that's okay too. Marcus says being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means being scared and trying anyway. Can I ask you something? A father speaks up, his son, maybe 7, leaning against him. What would you tell my son? What would you want him to know? Lily thinks carefully. I would tell him his voice is special. And when he's ready to use it, people will want to hear what he has to say. And it's okay if he's not ready yet. There's no rush. The simplicity of it, the wisdom in this 6-year-old who's lived through hell breaks something open in the room. Parents start sharing resources, phone numbers, hope. Kids gravitate toward Lily, this girl who understands their silence but found a way through. Someone in the back has been recording on their phone, not media, just a parent who wants to remember. They ask if they can share the video online in a private group for families dealing with selective mutism. Victoria looks at Lily, who shrugs. If it helps other kids, okay. The video goes online that evening in a closed Facebook group of maybe 2,000 members. By Monday morning, it's been shared beyond that group. By Tuesday, it's gone viral. Not in the aggressive TMZ way, but in the quiet, powerful way that truth resonates. Parenting magazines pick it up. Mental health organizations share it. The Today Show calls asking if Lily would do an interview, but Victoria politely declines. We're not interested in making her famous. She just wanted to help some kids who are struggling like she did. But the impact ripples outward anyway. Victoria's phone fills with messages from parents thanking Lily, sharing their own breakthroughs, asking for resources. This is what money should do, Victoria realizes. Not just accumulate, but help. The idea crystallizes over the next week. She calls Michael. What if we created a foundation? Something specifically for families dealing with childhood trauma and communication disorders. We could absolutely do that. You're thinking grant making or direct services? Both, grants to schools and therapy programs, but also a network connecting families. Peer support, resources, maybe fund research. This sounds personal. It is. Lily's not the only kid who's suffered. And most families don't have my resources. What if we could change that? I think it's brilliant. Want me to start the paperwork? Yes. Call it Lily's Voice Foundation. Michael is quiet for a moment. Victoria, are you sure about using her name? She gave her voice to help other kids. This is just extending that gift. The foundation work gives Victoria purpose beyond motherhood. She discovers she's good at fundraising for causes she believes in, at connecting with donors, at building organizational structure. It's the same skills she used building her company, but now aimed at something that matters more. Marcus watches her transform, sees the light return to her eyes. You're happy. He says it one evening as she works on grant applications at the kitchen table. I am. I didn't think I would be, giving up the CEO role. But this, she gestures at the paperwork, this matters more than quarterly earnings ever did. Maybe you needed to lose the title to find the purpose. Maybe. She closes her laptop, gives him her full attention. How's the carpentry going? Good, really good. I've got 3 commission orders. People saw the table I built for our living room and wanted their own. That's wonderful. It's also weird. I'm making more per piece than I made in a week at the sanitation company. So quit the routes. Focus on what you love. I did. Marcus admits it quietly. Gave my notice yesterday. Last day is Friday. Victoria's eyebrows rise. You didn't tell me. I wanted to be sure first. Sure I could actually support myself with the woodworking before I gave up steady income. And I had to accept that sometimes letting go of what's stable is necessary to reach for what's right. He smiles. I learned that from someone very wise. Oh yeah? Who? You, that first day you told your board to accept you as you are or find someone else. Victoria laughs, remembering the terror of that moment. I was bluffing. I had no idea if they'd actually let me take leave. But you did it anyway. That's brave. So are you. They kiss across the kitchen table, and Lily's voice interrupts from the doorway. Gross, you're being mushy again. But she's grinning, and that makes everything worth it. 3 months after moving in, they've established real routines. Marcus works in the shop most days, building custom furniture pieces that are getting attention from local designers. Victoria runs the foundation, which is growing faster than expected. Major donors stepping up, programs launching, families being helped. The kids are thriving. Ethan made the honor roll and joined the school debate team. Lily speaks freely now, though she still carries her bear for comfort during stressful moments. They fight like normal siblings, over video game time, whose turn it is to choose dinner, whether to watch nature documentaries or cartoons. It's beautifully, perfectly normal. One evening in early summer, Marcus finds Victoria in David's old study, now her foundation office. She's staring at a photograph on the desk, her and David on their wedding day, young and hopeful and unaware of how brief their time would be. You okay? Marcus asked from the doorway. I was just thinking about him, about how much he'd love seeing Lily happy. He would. And I think he'd be glad she has people who love her now. Marcus enters carefully, respecting this space that still belongs partly to a ghost. I want to talk to you about something. That sounds serious, maybe. Marcus sits on the edge of the desk. We've been living together for 3 months. The kids are settled, we're happy. This thing we're building feels real. It is real. Then maybe it's time to make it official, not just cohabiting, but actually committed. Are you asking what I think you're asking? I'm asking if you'd marry me. Properly, legally, in front of God and the kids and anyone else who wants to witness it. Victoria's breath catches. You want to marry me. I want to build a life with you. I want to legally be Lily's stepfather, for Ethan to legally be your stepson. I want us to be a family in every sense that matters. He produces a small box from his pocket. Nothing flashy, just a simple gold band with a small diamond. I know it's not what you're used to. David probably bought you something from Tiffany's. David proposed with a twist tie from a bread bag. We were broke graduate students. Victoria laughs through tears. He upgraded later, but that twist tie is still in my jewelry box. So is that a yes? It's a yes to all of it, to building this life, to making it official, to being brave enough to love again. They kiss, and this time when Lily and Ethan interrupt, it's to find their parents crying and laughing and holding each other. What happened? Ethan demands. We're getting married. Marcus announces, and both kids erupt in cheers. Can I be the flower girl? Lily jumps up and down. Can I walk you down the aisle? Ethan asks Victoria. That would be perfect. They pile into a group hug, all four of them, and Victoria thinks about how far they've come from that first morning at the gate. From stranger to friend to family. It happens so fast, but it also feels like it was always meant to be this way. The wedding is planned for late July, in the garden where everything began. They keep it small, just family and close friends, Rosa and Dr. Rosen, and a handful of others who've been part of the journey. Victoria wears a simple dress, not the elaborate gown from her first wedding. Marcus wears a suit he built himself, literally, custom tailored from fabric he selected with Ethan's help. The morning of the wedding, Victoria finds Lily in her room, staring at a photograph of David. You okay, baby? I was telling Daddy about today, about Marcus and the wedding. What did you tell him? That I still love him, that he's still my daddy, but that I love Marcus too, and I think that's okay. Victoria sits beside her daughter. It's more than okay. It's exactly what Daddy would want. He loved you so much, and love like that doesn't go away. It just makes room for more. Did you tell Daddy that too? Every day, when I'm in the garden, when I'm falling asleep, whenever I need to feel close to him. And I think he knows. I think he's happy we found people to love again. The ceremony is simple. Ethan walks Victoria down the makeshift aisle while Lily scatters rose petals ahead of them. Marcus stands beneath an arch he built himself, his eyes wet as Victoria approaches. The officiant, a friend from Victoria's college days, keeps it brief. We gather to witness Victoria and Marcus choose each other, to celebrate the family they've built from broken pieces, to honor both the love they've lost and the love they've found. Victoria and Marcus have written their own vows. Marcus goes first, his voice steady despite the emotion. Victoria, 6 months ago, I was just a guy doing his job, trying to get through each day. Then I met your daughter and you, and everything changed. You taught me that it's okay to be broken, that healing doesn't mean forgetting, and that family is something you build rather than something you were born with. I promise to love you and Lily, to build this life we're creating, to be brave enough to stay even when things get hard. Victoria takes a shaky breath. Marcus, you gave me back my daughter. You taught me that control isn't the same as strength, that letting go sometimes means holding on tighter, and that love doesn't follow a timeline or care about logic. I promise to love you and Ethan, to honor the family we've chosen, to keep choosing courage over fear every single day. The rings are exchanged. Marcus's band matches Victoria's, simple and perfect. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. They kiss as the small gathering applauds. Lily and Ethan cheering loudest of all. The reception is in the garden, just cake and champagne and music playing from speakers Marcus installed. Lily and Ethan dance with abandon, not caring that they have no idea what they're doing. Rosa approaches Victoria with tears in her eyes. Senora, I have worked for you for 10 years. This is the first time I have seen you truly happy. I didn't know I could be this happy. After David, I thought that part of my life was over. It was never over. Just waiting for the right person to help you find it again. Marcus spins Lily around the improvised dance floor, and she shrieks with laughter. Ethan tries to teach Victoria some dance move he learned from YouTube. and she gamely attempts it despite having no rhythm. This is family. The family, Victoria thinks. Messy and imperfect and absolutely beautiful. As the sun sets over Philadelphia, casting golden light across the garden, Marcus pulls Victoria close for a slow dance. No regrets? Not a single one. Even though people still think I married you for your money? Even though their opinions don't live in this house. Good answer. They sway together, and Victoria looks around at the garden, at Lily and Ethan making up their own dance moves, at Rosa serving cake with a grandmother's pride, at the home that once felt like a mausoleum but now pulses with life. Thank you, she says it against Marcus's shoulder. For what? For being brave enough to return a teddy bear. Everything else followed from that one small kindness. I think about that a lot. How different our lives would be if I'd just thrown the bear into the truck. But you didn't. You saw a sad kid and chose to help, because that's what decent people do. Not everyone, not even most people, but you did, and it changed everything. The song ends, but they keep swaying, holding each other as the evening cools and the stars begin to appear. 6 months later, the foundation has helped over 300 families. Victoria speaks at conferences about childhood trauma and selective mutism, always crediting Lily for being brave enough to share her story. Marcus's furniture business has grown beyond what he imagined. He's hired 2 apprentices and is teaching kids from underserved neighborhoods carpentry skills. Lily is in 1st grade now, speaking freely, making friends, occasionally still shy, but no longer silent. Ethan is thriving in 8th grade, already talking about high school and college and the future that once seemed impossible. They gather for Sunday dinner, their one non-negotiable family tradition. And tonight, Victoria has news. The board officially accepted my resignation. I'm no longer on any committees, no longer have any connection to the company. How do you feel? Marcus asked carefully. Free. Completely, absolutely free. She looks around the table at her family. I spent 15 years building something that made money. Now I'm building something that matters. This foundation, this family, this is the legacy I want. What about the company? Ethan asks. Isn't it weird someone else is running your business? Not really. It was never mine. It was just something I built to prove I could. The foundation is different. This comes from purpose, not pride. Lily raises her juice glass. To Mommy, for being brave and helping kids. Everyone raises their glasses, even though half are drinking juice. To all of us, Marcus amends, for being brave enough to become a family. They clink glasses, and the sound echoes through the dining room that once felt too formal, but now feels exactly right. That night, after the kids are asleep, Victoria and Marcus stand on the balcony off their bedroom, looking out over the city. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't stopped that day? Marcus asks. If I'd driven past without noticing Lily? All the time. We were strangers who could have stayed strangers. One decision changed everything. Makes you think about how many other life-changing moments we miss because we're not paying attention, or how lucky we are that we paid attention when it mattered. Victoria leans against him. I don't believe in fate, but I believe in choice. We kept choosing each other, even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. They stand in comfortable silence, and Victoria thinks about the journey, from that first morning at the Iron Gate to this moment, married and building a life neither could have predicted. You know what the best part is? She asks. Tell me, I get to keep choosing you. Every day for the rest of our lives, I wake up and choose this family. That never gets old. Marcus kisses the top of her head. Every day for the rest of our lives. I like the sound of that. Below them, the garden where they married is peaceful in the moonlight. The gate stands permanently open now. They removed it entirely last month, replacing it with a simple arch. No more barriers, no more separation between their world and the world outside. Just openness, possibility, and the choice to be brave. Inside, Lily and Ethan sleep peacefully in their rooms, safe and loved and whole. The house that once echoed with silence now holds laughter, arguments, music, and life. Victoria thinks about David sometimes, sends him gratitude for the years they had and the daughter they created. She thinks about Rachel, whom she never met but who gave Marcus the capacity to love deeply. The dead aren't forgotten. They're woven into the fabric of this new family. And maybe that's the real miracle. Not that they found each other, but that they were brave enough to believe broken pieces could create something whole. Marcus's phone buzzes. A client wanting to commission a dining table, willing to wait 6 months for his craftsmanship. Victoria's phone shows emails from families the foundation has helped, sending photos of children who are speaking again, laughing again, living again. We did this. Victoria says it with wonder. We built something real. We're still building. Marcus corrects gently. This isn't the ending. It's just the beginning. And he's right. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. Ethan's high school applications, Lily's continued therapy, the foundation's expansion, Marcus's growing business, the beautiful chaos of blended family life. But tonight they stand together on the balcony, two people who were brave enough to take a chance on love after loss, on family after fracture, on hope after despair. The city glitters below them, full of other stories, other families, other people finding their way through darkness toward light. And in this house on Delancey Street, in the garden where a garbage man once returned a teddy bear to a silent girl, a family sleeps peacefully, imperfect, unconventional, but absolutely beautifully real. Worth every risk, worth every leap of faith, worth everything.